So we're talking about Ubisoft and how they're basically going underwater right now. They're singing as their pirate game sank. Because let's be honest, everything they have on their banner is a flop right now. Assassin's Creed Shadows hasn't released; it's already been delayed. Freaking X Defiant released and then got immediately killed by Call of Duty. Skull and Bones was a bad attempt at making a game they already made before, which they couldn't even do that right. Star Wars Outlaws. It's just worse Red Dead Redemption. A really bad attempt at a Red Dead Redemption. That's literally it. It is space. It's really bad space Red Dead Redemption. Avatar. It's so forgettable. You have the logo covering it. Prince of Persia, your only good game this year, but because your reputation's so bad, it's still sold poorly.
Wait, there was a Prince of Persia game?
Yes, and that should surprise you that it was an actual good Prince of Persia game and still died.
By Ubisoft.
Yes.
They did a good game.
Yes, they did. It's actually on Steam. Right. This was coming...
burned to the goddamn ground.
Exactly! The Crew 2. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what this game is, but apparently released. And I don't even know what the other two are. That's a bad point.
Crew 2 is a racing game.
Yeah. But it required an online aspect at all times, otherwise you couldn't play it. And they just took down the servers, so the game is quite literally unplayable. So players were wondering, can we get a refund since we can't even play this? Ubisoft never did a refund.
This was coming. This was coming. Just saying their games went down over time. Honestly, they did. I will agree with that.
Yeah. But also, this is kind of deserving for Ubisoft because remember what their CEO said: gamers should get used to not owning.
I remember that. That was really stupid.
Was it? So it was Ubisoft.
Ubisoft
started that whole trend.
Specifically, it's that technically they have a point. You do not own the game; you own the right to play the game, and the company that sold it has a right to get rid of that at any time because Steam or the launcher are the ones that allow you to play it. If they pull that from Steam, you don't have the game anymore.
Wait, is the Crew 2 shut down already?
Yes.
Wait, really? No way.
Yeah, and then they patched it.
I thought the Crew is still up at least. Like the Crew. So X Defiant and Crew didn't even last a year. What the hell?
Yep. And they basically killed off any chance of offline play.
At least they patched Crew 2 so you can play. You can't even play X Defiant no more. Yep, like what the hell, Ubisoft? Let's continue and see what else is coming up.
Looking at some signs that the end truly is arriving, or at the very least, some significant changes are going to be happening in order to save this company from going completely.
The only significant changes I see that could save this company is getting straight up bought out. Like someone's gonna come in and buy Ubisoft, and I'm gonna be honest, from how much reputational damage they've done to each other, to the entire industry, that entire company. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like they've made their value so down that like anyone, even Nintendo, could probably walk in and go like, I'm gonna buy that.
I swear, if Nintendo buys Ubisoft and then makes Altair a playable character in Smash one day, I will.
I think it'd be funny.
Yeah.
And honestly, as much as I'm like,
they did it for Sora. That's all I gotta say. They did it for Sora.
I'm gonna be honest.
That is actually because Disney agreed to it. Because Disney, it's okay. No, Disney didn't agree to it, but they did agree to Sora at least having the Mickey Mouse head on the Keyblade. That's why you only see Final Fantasy XIV characters or original characters.
Yeah.
On Sora's mask.
But before that, let me pop in here. Because the thing about this is this: if Nintendo can buy it, that's kind of a bad sign. But at the same time, as much as it sounds bad, I'd actually like Nintendo to buy Ubisoft because I feel like at least they would treat their IPs better than the freaking Ubisoft was treating them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, are you sure? Is that true? Actually, like what Nintendo's done in the past year?
Uh huh.
Well,
to be fair, another thing is the thing about I'll give a counterpoint. They are protecting their IP, even if we don't see it as protecting. In their way, they see it as protecting their IP. But at the same time, they also how Metroid Prime 4, that has been in development for so long to the point they actually canceled development and then redid development because they didn't think they got a good enough product. And whenever they release a Zelda game or something else like that, it's at least coming out mostly bug-free and playable half the time. Like usually, you don't see them release a bad game very often. Even
Arceus
or anything else like that. But
don't defend the Pokemon games. Those
not.
games are definitely trash.
I'm not defending the Pokemon games. I'm just saying, at least when it comes to like Nintendo, I can count on them to make a good Zelda game, a good Mario game. I can't count on Ubisoft to make an old version of a Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem.
Another thing to think about, Nintendo as a company as a whole, the reason why Nintendo's kind of seen so negatively, it is one department, the Nintendo legal team, because they're the ones that do all of that. The developers aren't at fault. In fact, some of them actually did state, we like some of the fan games. They're good. But the legal team, which they have some of the, give them credit, they have some of the best lawyers in the industry.
Yeah.
They're doing their jobs is the other thing. Now, it would be nice if Nintendo would admit certain things, but we're not going to get that far.
Yeah, I will say this. Ubisoft can't make a good game to fix their company. Nintendo is spot on with their games. That's why the Switch sells so well. Like, let's be honest, Breath of the Wild sold the Switch because it was such a good game. And then Smash and all these other games that came out, Mario, Odyssey, freaking Metroid Prime is going to probably launch on the new Switch. So that's going to be a games that, a freaking seller. Twilight, it was Tears of the Kingdom sold pretty well. Xenoblade Chronicles has been apparently selling decently well, enough to make 3 games now, and apparently I think they're working on a new one.
My God.
And also the Fire Emblem games are apparently very, very popular.
Oh, Three Houses, especially.
So my whole thing is this, with all those franchises they have, and they seem to be releasing them pretty frequently and within good quality for each one, I'm gonna be honest, I'd have more hope for them making a good Assassin's Creed than I would have freaking for Ubisoft to make an old game like they were supposed to. Like, Skull and Bones was supposed to be just a sequel to Black Flag. Do what you did with Black Flag, but do it online. That's not hard. You've done it before. How the hell did you mess it up like that? But let's continue because we're only like 30 seconds into a 16-minute video.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's pausing it.
There is a single company that is actually interested in buying Ubisoft, possibly.
Tencent?
Yes.
I figured. They buy everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're the one who keeps pausing the video.
Yeah, I paused the video because I have stuff to talk about. But either way, let's continue.
We get off track, though.
Yeah, either way, let's continue.
So here's the headline from that Park Place. Ubisoft seemingly prepping for bankruptcy ahead of Assassin's Creed Shadows release as past failures spell almost certain doom. Now, if you asked someone in 2020 if they thought Ubisoft to be facing bankruptcy in the next couple of years, they would have said, you're crazy. But no, that is the reality and probably the most feasible route for the company, as we'll see in this video. And beyond bankruptcy, there's only a few options left: a merger or a full buyout, or to just tough it out and try to figure out how they're going to get out of this hole, which seems to be the option they're going with, at least publicly, for now. You can see this headline here. Ubisoft today confirmed that leading advisors have been hired to look at transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders.
Oh, I see this is going very poorly. This is a very bad option.
I read that as cannibalistic. And I think that's still fair.
They're going to probably cannibalize the audience. What they're probably going to do is put in a bunch of microtransactions and just try and cannibalize as much as they can off the audience, just to make something of the sales back. But the problem is everyone is so against Ubisoft. I'm pretty sure if you put the Ubisoft onto a title of the game, no one's going to really buy it. And I'm going to be honest, at this point, I don't even think it'll be up to them, because they're a publicly traded company. All someone would need to do is just buy out all their shares without them really being able to buy anything back. They just get bought out completely that way.
All they
They're
gotta
gonna
do
eat
is
themselves.
buy
They are gonna eat
51.
themselves. They're gonna drive themselves so far into the ground that by the time they're done trying to like fix their thing, someone's gonna have a nice giant check just to buy up all their IPs and just leave those companies for dust.
Honestly, I would find it funny if someone buys the company and gets all the IPs and then never does anything with it. People complain online for years. We wonder, why did they do it? Where did they go? And they finally show up and they say only one reason.
Money.
Be- well, no, they didn't do anything with the IPs because since they're now the sole owner, if they don't want to do anything, they don't have to, and
Yeah.
thus the franchises die. As the saying goes, it is better to die a hero than to live long enough to become a villain.
Well,
But
they
I think
definitely became the villain on
they've
this
lived.
one.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Yes.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like things are about to shut down and be sold off.
Fully
But
agree.
anyways, they're going to try to work this out for now by having people re-examine how the company is working. And they got a mountain to climb. Some would say an impossible mountain to climb. They have
Yeah, I don't envy
almost
them.
as much debt as they do market cap right now, which is absolutely horrifying for the company. And really
that's
everything
not good.
is now hinging upon the success of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and that is a very concerning thing.
Wait.
But let's see the statement that was made.
Oh yeah, they delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows again.
Wasn't one of the early issues was the fact that a lot of the info they based on for Assassin's Creed Shadow was not actually true?
If we go into an entire thing of Assassin's Creed Shadow, it's gonna take like an entire 2 hours. That'd be the entire stream. But to put it very simply, the history they're relying upon was made up by people who didn't even do much history, and some of them were just fanfic writers, basically.
True. There was a European who did actually become a samurai, I believe.
There was, but that was during the whole like it's like when the Dutch and the English kind of found Japan after they were warring for a bit.
There were
different era.
It was a very
different
different era.
Yeah, but it was also 2 books were written on that entire story.
Yeah.
I read them a long time ago.
The problem with this is Yasuke as a character is very highly debated out on history because they don't know if he was technically a samurai or not. At best, I think he'd be considered a ronin, and that's at best.
Yeah.
But he would not be a samurai, basically. And then you had some of the directors coming out saying that, the freaking Japanese have been hogging the samurai too long. It's time for like an African American guy to be a samurai. And I thought that was unbelievable that the directors would say that, actually.
Yeah, it isn't samurai literally
the samurai
cultural for the Japanese.
The samurai is their heritage. That is their thing. There wasn't samurai in China. There wasn't samurai in South Korea. There was samurai in Japan. I think a bit of South Korea just because the samurai did conquer South Korea after a while, but that's about it.
Yeah, that was.
So
that's
a thing. But my whole thing was like. There's a lot going in Assassin's Creed that I do not like, especially for the new one, but we'll continue.
Strategic update right here, posted yesterday. Following the strategic and execution reviews initiated by the executive committee a few months ago, Ubisoft is taking decisive steps to reshape the group in order to deliver best-in-class player experiences, enhance operational efficiency, and maximize value creation. Ubisoft announced today that it's appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for shareholders, which are obviously the main focus here. I like how they start off talking about player experiences. Let's forget it, okay? This is Ubisoft.
No.
They care about the shareholders who are leaving in droves right now. So they continue on saying this process will be overseen by the independent members of the board of directors. Ubisoft.
You know what the worst problem is? This entire thing could be solved by doing one thing. Please the freaking player base. If you please the player base, your shareholders will get a lot of money. You will not have to complain. They won't complain.
but that's also an issue because even if you try to like appease like the player base, there are still going to be some people, like some players, who will be upset, saying like, "Oh, I didn't want this. This is something else. This is something I didn't want." Yet, while other players will be like, "Oh, this is exactly what I wanted." It's hard to please everyone. While at that point, you're basically just going to be pleasing no one. If that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah, they honestly, I will agree with you, Suta, because they have lagged behind a lot. It's actually unfunny how much they lagged behind. But my point was this: when it comes to this company, all they had to do is please the fans. And you're right, not every fan's gonna be pleased, but you just gotta try and please the most amount of fans. They're not even attempting that anymore. Like, they're honestly doing the opposite of that. They're not even pleasing regular fans of the series. What the regular fans of Assassin's Creed want is an Assassin's Creed where, it deals with Assassins and Templars, none of this Hidden Ones bullshit anymore. While at the same time, I want, like, the white suit with the hood, and I want to be killing Templars, I want to be able to do stealth, and I don't want it to be an RPG all the time. Like, sure, RPG elements are fine. I think Syndicate, in my opinion, did it better. But that's about it. You shouldn't really be doing much else than that, you know?
Wait, Syndicate, was that the one based in the French Revolution?
No, that was the one with Industrial with London.
Okay, yeah, that was my favorite.
The French Revolution was Unity.
With Unity, even then, I'd rather you go back to Unity RPG style than the one you got right now, because at least then it was funner. And also, you dropped co-op because you fumbled the ball once. Add co-op again. I want to go around with a buddy to go and stab people. That's fun as shit, okay? The fact you guys did it once, got scared, and then never did it again honestly shows me that you guys have no intention of ever pleasing the fan base.
Like, we see multiple times assassins work together on missions.
Yeah.
And it looks cool as hell, because if you do coordinated attacks, it's like, oh, damn.
Yeah, things get cool when you do stuff like that. Hell, you added multiplayer to Watch Dogs. Why the hell did you not add multiplayer to the freaking Assassin's Creed series, which is your bread and butter? I don't know. There's a lot of things I could criticize Ubisoft on, but like, oh my gosh. I just feel like they can't even please their fans enough to make money anymore.
Will inform the market in accordance with applicable regulations if and once a transaction materializes. Operationally, the company will continue to drive significant cost reductions together with a highly selective approach to investments, and now expects to exceed 200 million euros in reduction of its fixed cost base over the next year or so. And then they say, additionally, as a part of the renewed focus on gameplay quality and engaging day one experiences, it has been decided to provide an additional month of development to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which will now be scheduled for release on March 20th. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed yet again. It was delayed once. Originally, it was supposed to release in November. They actually promised their shareholders that. Well, that didn't work out, so they delayed it until February. And now that February release date has been delayed until March 20th.
You know, I'm actually strangely looking forward to the release date.
Either it's going to go well.
No, I do not see this going well at all. I see this being a dumpster fire that's going to burn for a long time. But I want to see it burn. That's the thing. It's going to be an event.
Oh, yeah, no, it is. That's how I see it. I enjoyed watching Overwatch 2 burn as Marvel Rivals came out. I'm going to enjoy this.
Exactly. Far Cry games feel like DLC for Far Cry 3. I'm going to be honest. I agree for most of them. Except 5. 5 was great. I liked 5.
That was the one where you're a DEA agent, right?
That's the one you're a DEA agent and you're trying to stop a cult. But yeah, I really like that one. Let's continue.
People are mocking the situation. It just shows clearly the pre-orders are not going very well, and clearly overall the hype surrounding this game is just non-existent, and they're trying to buy time and find a more strategic time to release this game for reasons we will go over in just a second. But here's the statement. We want to extend our heartfelt thanks to our incredible fans and dedicated teams for your unwavering support since our announcement in September to further refine and polish Assassin's Creed Shadows. Since November, we've been thrilled to share our progress through gameplay overviews, and the overwhelming excitement has truly inspired us. Each week has brought valuable feedback from our community, while we've already made remarkable strides. We believe a few additional weeks are needed to implement that feedback and ensure an even more ambitious and engaging day one experience. Accordingly, the new release date is March 20th, 2025. We remain committed to delivering a high-quality, immersive experience fostered by ongoing dialogue between our players and development teams. Oh, give me a break. They're saying that they want to continue the dialogue between players and their development team. That has never existed. Way too late. You have made it very clear for a long time that you don't care about the feedback of anyone. I mean, starting with the choice of Yasuke as one of the co-protagonists.
Yeah, well, like, I feel like Yosuke could have worked, but the whole problem with him is this. They are using unverified history and people that are very biased on his history to write the entire thing. And when the Japanese historians and everyone points this out, next thing you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you don't like him because this reason and that reason. I'm like, no, I just want a faithful adaptation. He wouldn't be considered a samurai, he'd be considered a ronin at best.
Yep.
It's a whole thing of history. You can't just say, oh my gosh, he's the first black samurai, because he wasn't. He was a ronin at best. And disagree with me or not, but it's not a settled thing, you know? Hey, back there, we're going over how apparently Ubisoft's dying. But also at the same time, he's technically right about that. When was the last time Ubisoft actually listened to their fan base? The silence speaks. Hmm? No. No. I didn't listen even after that. I didn't even think they listened after that, and I'm gonna be honest. I think they stopped listening right around Unity. As soon as Unity hit, I feel like they just stopped listening to people. I feel like that's when it started.
Yeah.
Because Unity was like hyped up because everyone was excited from Black Flag. Everyone was like, this is gonna be the next big thing. This is gonna be great. They get a bit of flack on it, and next thing you know, they're like, oh, we can't trust the fans no more. No, this is not how it works. No. You know, we're never gonna do multiplayer again. We're never gonna do this again. We're never gonna do that again. We're gonna put microtransactions in everything.
Also, I'm sad that we never got a World War II era Assassin's Creed game.
Maybe whoever buys Ubisoft will give you one.
Because
I mean,
come on, who
technically,
wouldn't love Assassin? No, the level does not count in Unity.
Fair.
it was in the Syndicate, not Unity.
Well, either way, a concept of it isn't actually a full thing.
It was in Unity. It was when
it was in Unity. Yeah, it was one of those like little, those little node points or whatever. But let's continue.
No, it's like there's like an actual like exploration level in Syndicate where you can take place in World War II.
I think that one was actually World War One.
Yeah, because it takes place, I think, actually
right
at the beginning.
2 game is 0. Yeah, it's Tencent. The likelihood of a World War II game is 0. Maybe. I don't know. Like, but at least it comes to Tencent. I mean, like, they might do that, but I feel like they'd probably do like a Chinese, like, Assassins. And I'm wondering if it, because thing is, Tencent's looking to buy them, but I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of other people also looking to buy them, and I feel like Nintendo wants to buy at least Rayman. But we'll continue.
Oh yeah.
And ignoring a lot of the criticisms about the errors in the game, especially when it comes to historical aspects, you just don't care. And now you're pretending to care, and it's way too late. But the replies are absolutely brutal. You can see this comment, again, just cancel it. No one wants to play as a black dude killing Asians in feudal Japan. We see that enough in San Francisco. 25,000 likes. That's how much people are turning on this company.
Damn.
We don't care. 0% interest. This part here would sound great if you hadn't called fans and gamers bigots after they called you out for disrespecting Japan's history and facts. A team of 3,000 is trying to impress gamers with jumping animations. Let me impress you with my closed wallet technique. brutal. Well,
Oof.
she's not lying. So right after this post, they would release this tweet saying parkour, showing off some parkour aspects of the game, which, of course, this is Twitter, so the quality is absolutely fried. So I'm going to their actual website, and you can see some of the parkour here, okay?
You know, I just realized how meta this is. We're watching a video to react to a video that's being reacted to another video. Welcome to the internet. I have fucked up. I just hit the wrong button. Oh, fuck.
Wow. Wow, so of course.
Quality's
The
absolutely
meta
fried,
is
so I'm going to
real.
their actual website, and you can see some of the parkour here, okay?
What's different? What's different?
You gonna pre-order? Did that change your mind?
What is different from the other Assassin's Creed games? Think about it this way. Tencent is Chinese and their international development at the moment is in doubt. Any historian wants to exchange. That's fair. I guess that's fair. Ow, Carboido, what the hell? But either way, my point is like, there's nothing different from the last Assassin's Creed game with parkour.
Mind? You gonna go pre-order the game now? Of course, like, parkour is a very important aspect of Assassin's Creed games. We know that, but this is what you're releasing after that announcement. This is supposed to be like a big unveiling here, and it's just kind of underwhelming overall. Let's watch one more here.
Why would someone be over here?
Great reaction speed by that NPC
What the-
over there. He really is quite responsive. But you get the point, right? Like, this is what they're showing, and really it's like, okay, that's fine, looks fine. The environment, all that looks fine, but overall there's just nothing really that exciting about it. And come to find out, me and many other people didn't even know, earlier this month, or back in December, they released a combat gameplay overview. That was on December 10th. When did that happen? Because a lot of people didn't even know this happened. This is pretty key, right? Like, overall, there's a bunch of other clips if you want to watch it, but
I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like it's realistic that his armor just pops off like a stormtrooper's bucket helmet. I don't think that should be a thing. I don't know. It doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah, unless there's like a spring in there.
I guess, but even then, like, I don't think it'd pop off like a stormtrooper, like, just got shot, you know? I mean, swimming event in the Olympics, and they just, My whole other point is, like, the graphics look fine, but I don't play a game for graphics. That's why I play shit like Marvel Rivals. Stylism is so much better, and fun is better. This isn't fun. This is just, I think that's the worst thing you could say about a game. It's just mid. At least if it's a bad game, I can go shit on it and know why I'm shitting on it. If it's a mid game, I'll forget about it, and I think that's worse. Better to be bad than mid, in my opinion.
Overall, I mean, it looks fine. It's Like, there's nothing amazing about it. It's just, like, That's really the best way I can describe my reaction. I mean, you can obviously disagree with me on that, but overall, I know a lot of people are just kind of indifferent to the combat. It's just not that great, and same with the stealth play as well. But anyways, what's curious is, after what we just saw there, only one of those two was actually in any way shared onto Twitter, and it was the parkour. They didn't show any clips of the combat, and it's like really confusing. It seems like they're not really utilizing their social media platforms. Even the clips we just saw, they're from YouTube, but they're unlisted videos, meaning you can only get there if you have a direct link. And it's just like, what are they doing in terms of like promoting this stuff? And again, also kind of shaking the confidence of people. All of those clips we just watched, they're all around 10 seconds long each, which is very suspicious to say the least. But anyways, getting back to this delay here, why are they doing this? Do they need more time to actually really polish anything? Well, no. What are they going to do in a couple weeks? There's nothing they're going to do that's going to actually really significantly improve anything with this game. However, I think this is a very strategic move on their behalf, where they're trying to really maximize the potential reach of this game, because February was going to be a brutal month for competition, okay?
Do you guys know what's releasing in February?
What?
Nope.
Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah, they're They
Yeah,
are screwed.
you know the worst part is it was supposed to be like 10 days before Monster Hunter.
Oh my god. They would have had some players, but then lose them all.
Like
Because Monster Hunter actually looks good,
uh-huh.
and I can't wait to play it because it has some of Rise's mechanics, the riding of an actual animal.
Yeah. You know it's also releasing in February?
What?
I think Civilization 7's releasing in February.
Oh dear lord, they are screwed.
And I think a few other. Well, let me find
They
what.
think,
Let me find what's actually releasing.
So they think a month is enough time.
Grab that, because I am really curious. Because I know there's other stuff that's releasing. Let me check what's releasing. What games are releasing in February 2020, 2025? Okay. So, where is it? Let's see. GameSpot has a thing for it. Let's see. Okay. January, no. February. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, February 4th.
Oh no.
Let's see. Sid Meier's Civilization, February 11th. Avowed, February 18th. Monster Hunter, February 20th. And apparently a few others. Rift. And then we have... Let's see, March. You have... Well, yeah, no, March, since they're pushing it all the way back to March 20th, it'll be right next to... What's releasing March 20th? Oh yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows, March 20th. And that's basically the only, thing, unless there's, a few other games coming out, but nothing too nothing too fashionable other than that. But yeah, no, they were planning on releasing it, 6 or 8 days before freaking Monster Hunter and between Civilization 7. Yeah, that's a really bad idea.
Yeah, they're just...
February releases include stuff like
bankrupt.
Monster Hunter Wilds, Avowed, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, as well as Civ 7. Okay, there's big titles out there a lot of people are interested in, and Assassin's Creed Shadows was going to be sandwiched between all of those. It was definitely going to hurt their chance of selling copies. So now they're in March, which is some more greener pastures, and I guess they're going to try to capitalize on basically a better market. However, more controversy, ladies and gentlemen, as pointed out in the replies here. So, you launched the Assassin's Creed Japan game on a day with one of the worst Japanese terrorist attacks. You literally don't care about history.
Only Ubisoft can do this.
Wait,
only
I'm
Ubisoft.
Sorry. Oh,
you're
telling me they're releasing it on the date of one of the worst chemical attacks?
Yep, they're
Japanese?
releasing it on a day of a.
Just
it basically be like releasing it it basically be releasing like Call of Duty on 9/11. It's not a good look.
No,
it's
Modern
not a good
Warfare
look.
3.
Yeah, no, yeah, right then and there, yeah.
Wouldn't it be bad if they released a playing game on that day instead?
Well, no,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
Microsoft Aircraft Simulator.
I still feel bad if you released it on that day, but still, you get my point, right?
Yes.
How do you do this? This would take a Google search at best. This is the same day. What the hell?
I feel like they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna push it back another month.
Oh, they're not even gonna push it back a month. They'll push it back a few days. I'm pretty sure if the shareholders figure out they're pushing it back another month, it is just gonna go downhill.
I mean, how more downhill can it get? They're
honestly,
Sisyphus.
at this point, the game
the bottom of the hill.
The bottom of the hill is this game just doesn't come out and the company gets completely sold. That's the bottom of the hill.
Slowly. And then whoever buys the company just releases the game as it was.
Yeah.
And apparently it's as bad as it was.
ChatGPT. Ubisoft looked up ChatGPT or something, and how? Yeah, basically, they looked up how to offend them. It's impressive they were able to do this, but only Ubisoft could do this. I think even EA couldn't do this. And I freaking don't think EA is smart enough to do anything.
Oh no, they would do something like that, but only if they knew they were going to get a ton of money out of it.
That there's a
If
difference.
they wouldn't do it on the holiday.
I'm gonna be honest. I fully agree with you. They would do it if it gave them money. I think Ubisoft is just this dumb. They didn't know it was this day. So, like, there's a difference. One's out of greed, which is more understandable than actual stupidity. Let's go.
Do you? So, as it turns out, March 20th is the anniversary of the Aum Shinrikyo terrorist attack in the subway system, where I believe 13 people were killed and dozens other injured. It was a very significant moment, and people are looking at that, and more outrage is brewing. After all, it's shown time and time again that there's not a lot of research done by the team at Ubisoft when it comes to really anything with this project in Japanese history in general.
The Torii
we had the whole
Gates.
situation with the
Son
Torii
of a
Gates
bitch.
scandal where they released.
Do you
Yeah.
know what happened with the Torii Gates?
They basically broke one in half and had basically desecration of a Torii gate.
Well, kind of, but no. The broken Torii Gate is a symbol of Japan. But question, what time period do you think it's for?
World War II.
Yeah, the Torii Gate, that lone standing Torii Gate is the only thing that kind of survived the Hiroshima bomb.
I'm sorry, but how many ways are they going to fucking offend Japan?
Like,
is this just their high school attempt before they die?
I guess. They're just going out
Let's
saying,
find
you know what Ubisoft is doing? They're going out saying, "Fuck the weebs." That's what they're doing. Fuck the
And then
weebs as they die.
I hope to God whoever buys Ubisoft makes a new Assassin's Creed game, and it's the most beloved one out of every single one.
I hope so too. Also, hey Dib, might have to beat you in a smithy. I mean, honestly, like before you beat me, Reptile, beat Ubisoft because they freaking deserve it. Well, let's continue. Like, holy.
Merch with the one-leg Torii Gate in the background, which was the remains after the atomic bomb was dropped. And not only does it not make sense historically, these events happened 350 years apart, but it just seems incredibly insensitive to include that in the background for your merch, right? Very bad look for them, and that's kind of what's going on with this release date controversy. And you can see people like Veridark posting this, Ubisoft fanboys going into the proposed community notes trying to dispel what's going on here, which is not why the notes are here. This is...
Yeah, no, we're watching this guy, and I don't agree with everything he says, but you have to admit, if you're releasing Assassin's Creed Shadows on the date of an actual Japanese terrorist attack that happened, that's a very bad taste. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's so messed up.
Not needed at all, but anyways, the reason this is a controversy is because of their history. Do I think they chose March 20th as a release date to intentionally insult Japanese players? No. But it just shows once again they don't really have any awareness of what's going on, and they're just making decisions without thinking about how it might be viewed by an already very disgruntled base of potential customers, especially when it comes to Japanese players. Now, I want to turn to the article we showed earlier in this video. It was written by Francesco here. I'll put a link to this post with the article in the description if you want to check out his work. He's done some very good stuff. In fact, his article helped with their latest GTA 6 video, how we looked into all the wokeness going on at Rockstar. But anyways, he wrote this article about...
Is it wrong? I actually haven't looked into anything about GTA 6. My whole perspective is if it's good, I'll be very happy. If it's bad, I will have saved my money.
Okay, so this is one thing. If it is good, like actually good, dear Lord,
yeah,
Rockstar would never need to make another game.
They honestly wouldn't. They would not.
Because it is theorized. Okay, GTA 5, over its entire lifespan, sold 10 billion. I think it made 3 billion in the first year.
Yeah, it did.
And that was GTA 5 at the beginning. Now imagine, since GTA 5 has such a fan base now, GTA 6 gets released, I feel like Rockstar will just be like, "Yeah, we're done. We've reached the peak. If we go any farther, we're fucked."
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like if GTA 6 is good, it's gonna make everything so much better, and people are gonna enjoy the game a lot. But if GTA 6 is bad, and I mean bad, I don't see Rockstar recovering. I see them making a lot of money from it and still probably continue to develop on it. Because no matter what, GTA 6 alone, the name is gonna sell them like at least more than 100 million units. At least. The only problem is if they don't come out with a good story like they're known for, no one's gonna want to buy the next one.
It's essentially they're putting all of their eggs in one basket.
Is it protect when they're wait, what? There has been info besides the announcement trailer. Yeah, no, I figured that, and he's complaining about it, but him and other grifters are complaining about women, a woman as the protagonist as the when it's the first time. Like, I don't care if she's a girl or not. I don't care. My whole thing is like, I don't care. I just hope she's written well. I really hope she's written well. I'm gonna be honest. I would like a good female character because we haven't really gotten too many of them. I think the last good one was probably like Horizon Forbidden West. Other than that, I don't really have too much hopes with a lot of companies. I think most companies' writing is actual shit.
I mean, I thought Carla from Baldur's Gate 3 was good.
Oh no, she's great. She's great too. Like all the characters in like Baldur's Gate 3, that one doesn't really, you don't even really need to talk about. That was just good writing overall. But
no.
And
I wish.
I don't know, like when it comes to a lot of female characters today, like I don't care if they're a female character, but I care if good writing, and we haven't been getting any of that. Like, what is it? I didn't even like the Avengers game, and I'm a big fan of superheroes, but like Marvel Rivals at least comes out with something interesting to talk about and everything else like that. But like, I don't know, there's just a lot of really, really bad writing right now, and I am very pissed at all of it. I think the best thing I could point to with really bad writing is just the Halo show. Sure, it's not a video game, but I can't even go back to doing over a game. Like, what the hell, you know? Oh, wow. Well, let's continue. But I have faith Rockstar will actually do it because they have been really good so far. I just hope it's good, you know?
About basically the reality of what Ubisoft is facing right now,
shit.
Not just with the company, but also with Assassin's Creed Shadows and how that'll play into really the...
Hey, Baller, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody, to the Coffee Crew. The first cup is always on me. How are you? How are you? Would you guys like a cup of coffee? Blah. We're currently reacting to a video about apparently Ubisoft is going bankrupt. Which is not surprising to me, but I am curious about their opinion on it.
And I'm laughing at it.
Bear raid. We got bear raided. Oh no. I hope EA is going bankrupt. EA is not going bankrupt, unfortunately. They have too many sports games. Back to AC Shadows. They're actively busting their asses on the game due to being near death's doors. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think... Like, the problem is this. Ubisoft's... Like, hence why the second delay. I don't even care if they delayed it. The problem is their name, their reputation is so in the gutter. I don't think anything could really save them. Are guns against their upper management? Yeah, like that's the point. Everyone hates Ubisoft as a company. They would just rather not buy the new Assassin's Creed game, just to see them crumble. Like, it's a whole thing based on, like, petty at this point. Like, you've screwed me out of my money so much. At this point, I'm not going to buy this game just to make sure you go down. I honestly think that's the sentiment for a lot of people.
Yep.
I don't pay attention to gaming news much. I've heard not great things from you talking about them before. I will be honest, while growing up, I loved Ubisoft games. I was a big fan of Assassin's Creed. I loved Black Flag, I loved 3, I loved Rogue, and hell, I even loved Unity. I even loved a Syndicate, technically. I thought those were great games. I loved the Ghost Recon series. One of my favorite strategy games of all time is End War, and that's a strategy game made by Ubisoft. I like Ubisoft games. But nowadays, they don't even have any. They can't even go back and make a game based on a game they already made. They can't even do that right. Like that's a whole problem I have. You know, they can't even go back and go like, hey, you know, Black Flag. We tried to make that again, but we made it worse. And I don't know how you do that. I honestly do not know how you do that. It's one of the most baffling things I've ever seen. But oh well.
Of what Ubisoft is facing right now, not just with the company, but also with Assassin's Creed Shadows and how that'll play into really the future of the company, because that's really their Hail Mary pass right now. Now, to give you an idea of just how bad this situation is, okay, right now, their market cap is at an all-time low. It's at 1.6 billion. But the company also has 1.4 billion euros in debt. Okay? That's really bad. On top of that, their market cap continues to decrease. They have a massive workforce of nearly 20,000 employees that cost them an estimated 750 million euros annually. So what are they going to do to fix this situation as these shareholders continue to flee? I mean, something has to give. Well, bankruptcy seems like the most logical route as expressed in this article, but what else can Ubisoft do if they don't want to go down that route? Well, option number one would be an asset sale, which in the past might have been a very good thing for Ubisoft, where they'll sell off some of their IPs. And in this case,
I'm gonna be honest. With some of their IPs, they could still sell them off and probably recover.
Coming.
I honestly think if they sold off like Ghost Recon, they sold off all the Tom Clancy stuff, they sold off like Rayman, I think they'd be able to bounce back with like a smaller company. Yeah, they wouldn't be AAA that much anymore. At best, they'd be like AAA, but not as big as they were. Well, that's the only thing I could really think that would actually save them and still let them be them, if that makes sense. But they'd have to sell all the Tom Clancy stuff. I honestly don't think they could do anything else other than that. But at this point, I think it's more likely there's just going to be a company that straight up buys them because of all the IPs they have. Because let's be honest, Rayman, Tom Clancy, freaking Assassin's Creed, all that stuff is not something to scoff about. You give these people a good version of those games, and you're going to have a loyal fan base again. Like, that's one thing I don't feel like anyone should scoff at. Like, even if you say, oh no, the brand is dead and everything else like that, it's like people say that about Star Wars. Everyone says, oh no, Star Wars is dead and everything else like that. I'm like, no, it's not dead. It's just being beaten with a stick right now. You give them a good Star Wars like game, a good Star Wars movies, and a good Star Wars like TV shows, people are gonna be eating out of your hand. They're gonna love that. But they're not getting that. That's the problem. You know, it's like when Power Rangers was about to be like sold off because they weren't doing too well, and next thing you know, another company comes up, buys Power Rangers, and they start doing well because they make a good Power Ranger series. Like, I wonder what happened. How'd it go? What happened to it? In short, Ubisoft is cooked. In short, Ubisoft right now is probably cooked. They're either going to have to sell off their IPs to make back the money, or they're generally going to get bought by someone else who'll take on the debt easier, you know? There's no way they're really surviving this. Wait, who bought Power Rangers? Actually, this is a long story. Nickelodeon didn't have Power Rangers. Like, so put this way. Disney sold... there's like 3 companies that own Power Rangers, but basically, Power Rangers went from like Disney Channel to Nickelodeon, and from Nickelodeon, Disney rebought Power Rangers. So it goes back and forth, apparently. But yeah.
They have some very valuable ones, like Assassin's Creed, for example. Unfortunately, because the market cap is so low at 1.6 billion, nothing they have in terms of assets can be sold for anywhere near that number. So they pretty much would have to give a fire sale for some really profitable IPs because their market cap is so low. And I like the metaphor that was used here by Francesco, saying basically Ubisoft is the chicken that's worth, let's say, $10. But the eggs they're producing, you're trying to sell for 30, which would be like the IPs, what have you. A smart buyer would just buy the chicken. Why would you pay more for assets when you can have what's actually producing them in the first place? And in this case, if you have a company like Tencent, for example, why would you buy Assassin's Creed for like $1 billion when you can have the whole company for 1.6 or something close to that? So that puts
That's the best point I think I've ever seen. Like, why buy all the freaking IPs like separately when you just buy the company and get them all? Also, Ubisoft can't seem to get a W at all. Like, delaying date is just horrible luck at this point. I'm gonna be honest, they should not have delayed the date. They should have just let it come out. At this point, nothing can really save them. Unless they have like a new game that no one knows about that they just released and it's like a smash hit. That's the only thing I could think that could save them. But they don't even have that. Like, let's be honest. Right now, Ubisoft is a sinking ship and we're just watching it slowly crumble.
The next option on the table, what about a full buyout? Will that work? Well, no, because Ubisoft is really damaged goods at this point. Not only do they have massive debt, they have a huge workforce. They also have a lot of other liabilities that come along with buying out a company like them. It's not a very good option for, let's say, like again, Tencent, for example. It might not be in their best interest to take on such a damaged set of goods that is Ubisoft at this point. So,
okay, I kind of have to disagree with him here. Yes, I would agree with him on that. Ubisoft is very much damaged goods, but this is going to be harsh. But I honestly feel like this is probably what's going to happen. You just buy the companies, get the IP, and for the companies you feel like could actually do some good, you keep around. Everyone else you can just kind of fire and shutter. That's honestly, literally, I think would probably be the best idea to save money on it. Because let's be honest, if you have all those companies and you have all this IP, well, why am I having this companies that's always making really bad things? I'd rather just take the IP, make a different company, or buy a smaller company and give it to them, rather than have the companies that are doing really bad at it. I'll just shutter them and not have to pay them. They keep delaying it, might as well fully finish it, or at least the game. They're not even gonna fully finish it. They already promised DLC that's probably not gonna happen. Like, it's one of those things of, even at this point, if they finish the game, it's not even gonna be finished. You promised a giant thing of DLC you're probably not even gonna be able to do. At this point, the only thing anyone could really do is like literally just release the game, have it flop, get bought out, and have most of your companies be shuttered, because let's be honest, that's literally what's gonna happen. Like that's the only thing I can see happening.
What's the other option at this point? Well, sticking to it. And that's kind of what they're doing right now, or at least what they're trying to give off publicly, because they got some mountains to climb here. Not only do they have the debt, they also have the huge workforce that's going to continue to cost them a lot of money. And what happens next is Assassin's Creed Shadows. That is their Hail Mary pass. They have to succeed. There's no room for failure. There's been too many flops. This is the flop that will end them at this point. There is no way this game can flop. And if this game does sell well, if it generates, let's say, $1 billion in revenue, that's just to basically keep the lights on at Ubisoft. That's how bad this situation is. And they're going to have hit after hit after hit in order to keep going as a company. They have, like I said, an impossible mountain to climb, but it seems very obvious right now that the option they're probably going to go with is filing for bankruptcy. And it seems like, based on what we saw them publicly share yesterday, that is the route they're preparing for. And that is something I expect we're going to see unfold very shortly after Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out, and likely will not do too well. Of course, it's such a successful franchise, it's not going to come out and do Concord numbers. It's going to do good numbers. But just like with Veilguard, the numbers they need for the budget they have with an IP that they're using, and also the current state of Ubisoft, they have to explode with sales. And I just don't think that's going to happen, because a lot of people just made their minds up about this game based on the many different controversies involving Assassin's Creed Shadows. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. So the thing is this. I think Veilguard is a thing, and I'm gonna be honest, I did not like Veilguard. I like Dragon Age as a series. I did not like Veilguard. I don't need, like, just looking at most of the reviews, I don't think people actually did like Veilguard as much. I think it sold fine, but I think it sold only on its name. That's the problem. A lot of the dialogue was cringy. And that's the problem. It was cringy dialogue. Even because if you compare Veilguard to like something like Origins or something else like that, they just don't feel like they could ever really be connected. And not to mention, like, most of the story was like everything in Inquisition just kind of got skipped past. It's a good thing. I only need Dragon Age Origin and nothing else, unless the same second game and the Inquisition is good too. Like, I like Dragon Age. You know, unfavorable opinion. I like Dragon Age 2. Another opinion I like is I also like, you know, Dragon Age Inquisition. Those are good games. They're fantastic in my opinion. I like those. But Veilguard felt off. You know? Like, maybe people did like it. But at the same time, when you're something like Dragon Age, you need to sell well. And as much as I think it sold, it had 70,000 players at its peak? So I'd say at least 100,000 sold, maybe? I don't think they made enough money to really call it a success. I think what they did was they made enough money to get to Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect. If the new Mass Effect bombs, I think BioWare will be shut down.